All right, welcome back to The Devil in Detail, the Grendel Reread podcast. I'm Eli.
I'm Ben. This is episode 38, issue 7 of Behold the Devil. And sadly, this will be our final Hunter Rose recording session. It's been an amazing 2/3 of a year with the man.
Yes, amazing. These last two issues too are like nonstop, blast away, like amazing stuff. This issue in particular, issue 7, is like, we get the whole cycle, we get a whole thing. It's amazing. But first, Ben, what you been up to?
I'm so glad you asked. I am wrapping up the very final pages of image grand design. Some of that is lettering, some of that is drawing. I'm doing 2 pages. My final 2 pages right now are being done with digital graphic duo shade.
Oh yeah, they look so good.
Thank you. I appreciate you saying that. I'm doing them with a free True Grit Supply Company brush. That's called, I don't know, it's called a shader, like a line shader.
Oh yeah.
And what I realized is that, well, first of all, I set the opacity low so you can get kind of like, you can get it to fade, because we were looking at TMNT duo shade pages, and sort of realizing that there's actually different values based on like the mix, or how much.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
You cut it with water or something like that.
Yeah.
But then what happens is that if you rotate the canvas like 90 degrees, the brush automatically flips itself.
So you can get both ways.
So that you can get both on one layer. It's really, really easy.
Nice.
So I'm doing that, and that is my week. I am happy to be making comics. What did you do this week?
Well, man, I wish that I had True Grit stuff when I was making issue 3 of Monkey Lion, because what I did is I just created lines going one way, flip that going the other way. I would have a layer of lines, a layer of white, a layer of lines, and a layer of white. And then I would erase the white in between to show these different, the values, and then I would bring the opacity down and I would color them. And I had so much more work that I had to do to get the like duo shade look, but recently I've done it a little bit more with that. But I've also been making comics. When this comes out, Image Grand Design will be announced, maybe even pre-out orders started. This huge project that we've been working on for a year with tons of people. Image Grand Design, Image Grand Disaster, the world's greatest fan comic ever made, honoring some of the greatest comics of our youth, the 90s, Image. Huge stuff.
Most elaborate jam comic of all time.
Absolutely. I think that's a great way to put it too. I've been just doing a lot more reading. I got all my comics delivered to me as the coronavirus rages in Los Angeles County.
Yeah.
One of the worst ragers in the nation. So I'm kind of just like super sheltering in place, not even going to the comic shop. Luckily they ship them to me, which is super nice. But just trying to stay creative, stay productive in this crazy world we live in. But that's why I'm psyched to read this insane issue of Grendel with you. Oh my gosh. Shall we dive in?
It's a crazy world. Let's dive in. Intro.
Boo!
It's like the devil is my best friend. Hunter Rose with the pen to the fork end, or till time end. Like Orion, Jupiter my kin, bloodline private. We control the whole shit. The wolf won't beef, then we feast off the rip. Behold the devil in detail. Behold the devil in detail.
All right, we're back. Thanks for another great intro, Manus in Laserdisc. The great theme song, we love it, and we dive headlong directly into this story, right back into the confrontation with what's been following Hunter this little creepy, this ghouly, this demon here.
Every issue in the series ends with a great cliffhanger, and I think 6 has one of the craziest. It is a true supernatural threat outside of the Hunter's schema of the known world.
Yeah, actually, like, because I think you have been reading from the omnibus.
Mhm.
I switched over to the floppies because you kind of lose the shit.
The ending, the finality of the
Well, yeah, and the
issue.
cliffhanger. You lose the cliffhanger. That's what because like it's right there, and
and
it's
I did
almost
have
like
to ask
where
you a
is
few
that?
times,
Right?
when does it end? Yeah,
right. And I mean, that's great for like the flow of one story, but you kind of lose the cliffhangers, and especially as we're going through it issue by issue, I wanted to keep those cliffhangers intact. But this one, I mean, again, the lettering by Tom Orzechowski really is on full display with this demon, this monster here, who's just litany and slurring of curse words but man, he drops some real knowledge and actually confirms one of my headcanons.
That's right. That's very true. This is a great layout because it is a 9-panel grid interrupted by an inset of Hunter, and it's one of these very like Matt Wagner. I need to take a minute to figure out how to read this, and then once you have processed it, you can sort of see what the device is. It's very similar to Batman Faces running around the track.
Oh yeah, one of your favorites.
Yeah, absolutely. We talked about the demon's eyes. I think who do his teeth remind me of? See, look at like panels 1. Most of these where you can sort of see them like fitting into the gums. Is that like a Mike Mignola kind of move, or I'm trying to place where I've seen something like that before.
It's reminding me of some of the kind of like painted covers of some of the other Grendel stuff, maybe even like silverback painted covers that we saw before. I don't know.
It's
I can't pinpoint it either.
The choices that Orzechowski makes with it's tricky to read the Devil's text because
I found it like click over. Like after a minute, it clicked for me and I was reading it pretty smooth. But yeah, at first it's like, what is he like? Where are the words? Because it all runs together for those who aren't seeing it. Like it all runs together. Like, oh, it tastes like fucking piss. And so he's in the corporeal world and it tastes bad to him. It feels bad to him. It's like this is not his normal dwelling. So he can't breathe. He's burning. Everything tastes bad, looks bad. He's like, what is this circle? I'm trying to motherfucking circle. Like, what have you done? Yeah. But then he sees Hunter and he calls him the sparkly one.
Yes, the one I was watching you, the sparkly one. Yeah, so that's pretty fun.
And the next page, another one of these semi splashes that are so indicative of this book. The supple one, the one who knows, the one who shows ye this wait, yeah, see, it is.
Yeah, see, it runs together in a weird way.
See how's yet his heart has all but died. Was it you, tasty boy? Was it you who trapped itself like this? He's kind of got like a dirty Schmiegel type of voice that's going on.
Yeah, and Hunter describes the audio quality like broken glass scraping over stone.
Right.
Ugh, horrible.
Oh my God. So he's this imp and he's like, but now the imp is kind of giving him some stuff like, I've been bothered to watch you. Like we've been watching you forever.
Yeah. We get off on your dirty deeds. It's.
Yeah. Your delicious deeds. Okay. Well, he does. Okay. So he's just saying now like fucking circle, fucking corporeal world. It hurts. And so this is still all a display of this demon kind of showing like how bad it hurts to be in the corporeal world. And Grendel's kind of just like watching all this happen.
Yeah. All he wants to know is, why have you been watching me? That's it. Like, why do you think? Because you're the worst person ever. Like you're not surprised that there's demons. You just want to know why. Like, why do you think, bro?
Maybe it's like another ego stroking thing. Like, am I tell me I'm the worst. Tell me I'm
Right,
the
yeah.
like worst guy ever, you know? And he's like, okay. And then so next page, he's like, you are the one, like the lordly one, the one who rules on earth would refuse to serve in hell. And he's like, Sparkle, Sparkle, you've been our special pet for years. Oh my God, this is so intense. And then he's even like, I peeked in on your birth, checked in on your youth, and it so wed the roots of your malevolence, helped that whore to rot and die. And he's like, take your name out of her mouth. So now it's even like I've been saying, like we placed Joe Costa there. Maybe even parts of us were in her. Maybe Joe Costa was one of us. Something.
We got what we needed out of her, and then we got her out of the way so we could use you.
When These are all pawns in our game.
Sure. Only a pawn in his game. When I read this, it made me think of a potential like Spawn crossover.
Oh my God.
This is where it's like it would actually be somewhat natural, except for the fact that Spawn is not like a particularly compelling, outside of the initial setup, like there's no story.
Well, the setup with this with that could be that Hunter Rose is in hell. It starts after he dies.
Yeah,
he goes to hell.
Right.
Meet Al Simmons at the same time, and they have to like battle for like supremacy to see who will lead Satan's army.
Or he talks his way, Hunter talks his way out of it, or
something that could be cool. That could be cool. And they both get sent back to Earth for like a mission. At a Kiss show where they have to meet other knights in Satan's service.
Oh, God. I like this when he breaks the circle, right? By putting his hand and his fork in it, there's those gray tone lines that kind of vertically kind of shoot down. And so the imp says, you play the game, but you don't know the rules. You've broken the circle, and now I'm free. And so he takes his crazy scorpion tail and stings Hunter with some LSD.
Yeah, some Satan acid.
Yeah.
And it even says Huxley's doors of perception unpeel their cavernous maw, and I am swallowed. And before we get to these next couple spreads, like what an amazing setup, only the foresight of Matt coming back 25 years later, reflecting on his life, reflecting on his storytelling, this huge, humongous story that he's told. Could you even possibly be able to tell a story like this and have the payoff be?
To boil down the themes to come and the conceit of each chapter of the cycle.
For sure. And like this issue brings like the whole cycle back. And then you're like, what is even in issue 8? And issue 8 then is able to like tie up the like corporeal story of this. Whereas this issue kind of ties up the entire cycle or something like that, and like brings it back to one. And it's even interesting that the hand that's grabbing his mask is like a skeletal.
Yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff going on here. It reminded me of people that don't like drugs by saying, I don't like to not be in control.
Right.
I don't like the feeling of losing control. And that's absolutely like a Hunter thing. Huxley this is not the first time he's been mentioned on the show.
Right.
It was, he owned Huxley's spectacles.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, Hunter does.
Something. Yeah, right. In his collection of like literary and criminal.
Oh yeah, that was from Shadow, shit. Right?
Yeah.
Also, that actually was written after this, so it could have even been an allusion back to this. Yeah.
Yeah, and then the description, fiendish venom rattles through me like ion skittering along an edge of hot steel is such a Terrence McKenna kind of like, oh yeah, that makes perfect sense sort of thing. Yeah. All right, let's turn the page and let's get into it.
Woo!
Let's see what's to come, baby.
Oh man, I see sorrow and regret, madness and fury, decadence and loss. Through it all, the indelible taint of gripping words, my words, My private words, amid a thirst for vengeance, I am reborn, albeit lacking the precision, the austerity, the giddy dominance, my fiery, recurrent,
Yeah.
short-lived, and yet again bequeathed. So here
Wow.
we see the Christine Spar, we see Stacy, we see Diana's book, and we see the Panda Bros, and we see the whole. Oh my God!
Yeah,
Hero.
the upper left. This is a cover from Diana's book, I think.
Yep,
Or
absolutely.
like
The cover
or
of,
imagery that would be used.
oh no, it's the cover of Devil Child 1.
Okay. Yeah, man. Is all right. So is some of the wording I found quite interesting here. It talks about, I guess, Christine's decadence.
Or the decadence of the future, maybe I was thinking.
Yeah. I was a little confused that because like Hunter's life is more decadent than Christine's, you know. And then when he compares his rebirth in Christine, you know, that she's driven really by sorrow and revenge. She doesn't have the precision, the stern austerity, or the giddy dominance. We talk all this time about like how he's just like,
right.
He's like the Joker. He's like giggling as he does it, and she's just like all about business.
Right. I mean, Hunter's giddy to take over everything. You know, the sky is the limit. But really, Christine just wants revenge for the death of her son. You know, so it's like she has a singular motive to kill Toshiro. And
yeah. So we got Wiggins. We were searching for Wiggins's name.
We were
earlier.
I love him so much too. It's so stupid. Like it's such an interesting growth.
Cool. So this is great. And what's up with the are these vials of eyeballs underneath Tajiro? Is that a thing? I don't.
Vile balls. No, I can't remember either. Again, it's been a minute since I read Christine Spar's story, so I'm really excited to get back into it.
They kind of melt into his journals. Very, very cool. Yeah.
Super cool. All right. Yeah. So then we continue on in the cycle. Hunter is being shown the fullness of the Grendel cycle in these visions that he's seeing. Alas, this time I recur with far less capacity in Brian Lee's song. I see loneliness led to misery led to fear led to lunacy, paranoia, schizophrenia. So now we're seeing the Grendel persona move from this mantle and kind of move into this metaphysical type of taunt. This ghost, this spirit.
It becomes more viral.
Right.
And it becomes more spectral, and it sort of, for lack of a better term, incubates.
The incubation years.
And then it will explode and then incubate and become more of a zeitgeist.
Exactly.
Kind
of delusions of grandeur in the runt of the litter. With Brian Lee Sung, he's not super powerful. He's not super strong. He's not driven by vengeance, though he is a bit in the death of his girlfriend.
Well, he's not an expert.
No, he's not like a peak, right? Yeah, he's not a peak human, you know, right. And you know, writ larger than his merits deserve.
Yeah, the virus is too much for him.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah.
No, yeah, but it and the bloodline is severed for now. I just feel it's important to kind of read the way that he's reflecting on each period here. We've got
because there's very sparse and specific language to say that this is what the entire thing is going to be about.
Yeah, man. And you know, we see the tree and we see him fall and die and this like stage figure kind of come apart in blood. And oh boy, does it get, man, this is such an epic, like I love Matt for it. And it's my favorite takeaway from the Grendel cycle is what it has had me want all my characters to have grandiose backgrounds and the need to provide insane backgrounds. How we were just talking earlier before we started recording about the wild, you know, some of these image characters are just cool to draw without, you know, these insane backgrounds, without these insane histories. But like Matt inspired me to want every single one of my characters to have these incredibly fleshed out generational stories, you know?
Right. And speaking of generational, there's a lot of characters who we see kind of go across. And Wiggins is the first one. We see him on Christine as a young man, kind of like a mod. And then he takes out Brian Lee Sung. And then on this, he's an old man on this one. He's during the incubation years. He's like truly old as
and I mean, I love how, you know, in those stories he kind of takes up the mantle from Christine Spar as the like narrator in those incubation years, and he kind of like, you know, he wrote his own book about Grendel, and you know, I love those pages where he's on the beach.
Strangely, my name, once whispered in hushed tones of dread, now becomes commodity, pulpified, broadcast, ranted, chanted, and incanted. All the while, the world goes straight to hell. My name becomes poison. My name becomes sin. My name becomes myth. So I actually haven't read these issues, period.
Oh, you haven't read God and the Devil?
So I've read God and the Devil. I haven't read prior to that. So this Grendel drug, I've never read.
Oh, that's the Epi Thatchers. That's Epi Thatcher. Oh, no, wait.
That's right before. That's incubation, I think.
Okay. Well, but the drug also is big in the
in God and the Devil.
Well, no, also in Grendel Tales, like the one where they're in the what's that guy's name? They're in the ice. They're in the like Antarctica, and they're
Paul Grist.
Paul Grist one. That guy's
also haven't read that one.
Oh no! Oh man,
no, I'm excited. It's good.
I've actually read that one like many times. I love that one.
Yeah, well, Paul Grist is a guy who I would think would be one of my favorite cartoonists, and I just haven't gotten around to it.
Yeah, isn't and Epi Thatcher strung out on the Grendel drug, the white Grendel from Four Devils One Hell.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Okay.
All so right, it kind of comes up once Grendel,
So then we've got the Pope. I think it's
Pius.
Pope. No, Pius
is later maybe.
But he's real. Well, spoilers. He's.
Oh yeah.
I don't even know. A lot of happens. From the ashes of chaos arises religion, repression, regression. The monsters manipulate, while libertines labor for liberty. I thought it was a very interesting way to introduce Orion Asante. That like the people that, first of all, there's obviously a little bit of Grendel in Pope Pius, a little, you know, dominant aggression, whether, you know, Hunter or Epi want to admit or reconcile or are able to do that with that idea. But the ones that can sort of try to strike global balance in an authoritarian regime are these like hedonistic, like ultra rich 1%, only I can fix it, Orion Asante, and then he kind of takes the ball and runs with it.
Agreed. Yeah. Really interesting stories, and Orion Asante's rise is super interesting too. As we get to the next page, we see Epi Thatcher. And we see Pelin Cross of the new rising, police force amidst this violent vaudeville, this godlike grand guignol. I don't know that word.
That was a French theater known for its shock value performance. I looked it up.
Thanks. I'm glad you did. Yeah,
you're welcome.
Again, like it says, again, I reemerge as Harley Quinn. Kind of the same type of thing. Harlequin, Guignol, and maybe even like what's it, the Kabuki theater from, it's that same kind of.
Yeah, I mean, I think I mentioned the Harlan Ellison story, Repent Harlequin, so the TikTok man, which has a lot of similar motifs as God the Devil. I really, Epi Thatcher, I think, is a character that, as long as that book is, I kind of wish that there was like a little bit more of him in it. But sure. My favorite thing, I love that he's like a tinker, and that like he builds all this stuff, and he has the Mr. Miracle like anti-gravity disc boots.
Love it. I love it. Yeah. He's a disruptor as death cult messiah in rags. Oh my God. That sounds like a Bob Dylan. Napoleon Rags in the sweet Joe.
This whole thing is like a Bob, like when Bob Dylan does like the post-apocalyptic Americana, like especially like Lily Rosemary and the Jack of Hearts. And have you ever heard the Electric record Street Legal? You know that one?
No, it's not coming.
There's good shit on Street Legal. There's stuff in that vein in there.
Dang.
Cool.
So laws tumble, schemes unravel, chaos gurgles unchecked. And then on this other side, we get the rise of Orion Asante. I forget the his empath's name. We'll get into it though. Yet again from the ashes, witness now as the phoenix takes flight, my most dominant incarnation. So this implies that the Grendel, spirit was incarnated in Orion Asante. Yet, he is one of who never donned the face.
Yeah, and yet he looks a lot like Hunter.
Very much so. Yeah, especially in this depiction, for sure. A king in spite of himself, replete with knights, a wizard, and ladies of intrigue, and dragons to slay all around.
So that's Pelin. Pelin becomes a vampire at the end of
the cop guy. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Yeah, that's Pelin Cross here. Yeah, that's right. He gets bit and taken down, and then he builds that whole thing in Vegas where he has the casino and the they take over Vegas. Oh man, and then we get here into the Nazi-esque regime of Grendel. Go ahead and read if you want.
The sun gun is in the upper right. That's right. That's big. They're gonna destroy the sun.
Simpsons did it. Just kidding, Matt.
His word becomes this is Orion. His word becomes tenant. His word becomes law. He inspires not fear but devotion, and then they're all hiling him. Mm-hmm. All in my name, all over the world. He collars the madness, parries any riposte. Those are fencing terms that he's just like. Oh, right. He's got total finesse dominance. All submit to his steely, indomitable will. I'm not sure who is this. Him as an old man with the broken teeth?
Yeah. With what?
Like an old man with broken teeth.
Oh,
without love. No, who's this screaming?
That's his mother, I think. Remember, his mother is like old and he has to go visit her and stuff.
I don't know.
Pretty sure that's his mother.
Okay.
Or his wife gets sick. I can't remember. Sorry.
Well, his wife is in the upper. His wife is the regent, the queen.
Right.
The queen. She's in the upper right. I love how it's very like administrative. Like she's basically like Hillary Clinton.
Yeah.
And then we've got little Jupiter over here.
Yep. I mean, we don't see him pregnant. This is where he gets pregnant, is where he has this
that's where he gets pregnant. Yeah. Okay. And then I always loved his like Civil War mutton chop mustache.
Beautiful. Love
That's
it.
Amazing. What a touch.
Oh, right, man.
So Orion creates a radical mindset. He creates a sacrificial goal. He creates the perfect warrior. In the Grendel Cycle ABCs, Z is for zenith.
That's right. Which is the zenith of. Oh yeah, singular. I got that print. Do you have that print? I think it's still available on Graffiti, but it's a beautiful print signed by Matt. Yeah.
Oh, you don't say.
I do say.
Well, I'm never spending another cent on anything ever again.
That's cool. Yeah, except for baby stuff. Little baby Hunter coming soon to a Granoff household near you.
That's why I shaved my beard so I can get an airtight mask.
Oh yeah, we forgot to mention. Yeah.
Surprise!
Yeah, you look nice.
Also, I'm having a baby, so the baby will be alive by the time this records.
It might. Yeah, it will be.
Hopefully, the baby will be born.
And then we move past here to Susan Varigan, and that's the
White Grendel.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, you're talking about that's
her girlfriend is the
Crystal
daughter of.
Yeah, that's Orion's daughter.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Move forward into Grendel Tales, basically.
Yeah, this is post-cycle.
Mm-hmm. All over the world of Grendel, a multitude of militants, miscreants, malcontents, all under my markings, all pledged by my name. This is the world of my making, the crumbling results of my infamous deeds. Wild thorny briars sprung from the loins of my ancient remains. Sorry, sprung from the loam of my ancient remains.
The fertile soil.
Wow. So now we're kind of fading back to the shattering of these visions back into
the broken glass.
And we see the skull too, which is something that Grendel Prime is like searching for, is the skull of Hunter Rose, which is part of the future Batman.
Yeah. But how does it get a bullet hole in it? I don't know
that either, man.
Maybe that's the story. Maybe that's a hidden story.
I forget.
They get up on the roof and they shoot him.
Yeah.
Who's to say? My only beef here is that is there a Devil May Care? Is that a skiff racer?
Oh, it is. Yeah, I was gonna say that too.
Oh,
man.
thank God!
But there it is.
Oh my God! And then the Croatian guys are in the lower right before the spread, I think.
Yeah.
And then
we don't see the what's it called? The one that Bernie colored, where that's like super brutal. They cut people up.
Oh no, you do the one with the pirate.
Oh, that's
above.
Right.
That's above the Verrigan
okay,
sisters, or the Verrigan clan gals, or whatever
nice,
they are.
Man, so much cool.
Oh man. So so that is quite the prognosticated hell acid vision of the future.
And to now know, I guess we don't see many adventures of Hunter Rose after this adventure, but I'd be interested to see how he proceeds with this foreknowledge, and
well, he deals with that a little bit in the rest of the issue.
Right.
He is absolutely haunted.
Oh, and you can see it in his face. Like he looks, emaciated and dark and troubled and stuff there.
Now, one thing that Matt has insisted is that Hunter is not reliable as a narrator. And a demon would also probably not be reliable.
Because you're saying this where he confirms my head canon?
Oh, right. He confirms your head canon that the demons have been watching him his whole life.
Well, and that he is not the first or the last.
Right.
Not the first.
So I think that, right. So, I think that it is in Matt's interest to not allude beyond this. That there's potentially stuff
before
prior,
and I mean, they could just be referring to Joe Costa. Now, did Joe Costa maraud around London or wherever she's from? Possibly. Did she fight crime?
We don't know yet.
Kill?
Yeah,
we don't know anything.
When we were getting into this, a theory that I amused myself with but do not buy into is that this is all bullshit. That this is all a product of his own mutated uber creature brain psychosis.
This is the only Grendel story that really, Hunter Rose story, that deals in any type of metaphysical or outside of normal.
Yeah, outside of Argent, which is sort of aside
true.
From that. So it's, none of this could be real. There's a way of reading this that none of this is real. Right. That Toro is real, and Toro can do voodoo. But if you want to believe something badly enough, you can believe it. So is the demon real, or is it a product of his head? Is this whole thing real? Could this have just been under different circumstances, Hunter could be if Hunter was more willing to give up control, he'd be wow, this would make a great book. And so there is a headcanon way of playing with all this stuff where if Hunter is unreliable, but he's also cerebrally mutated, everything that we read after is a book that Hunter wrote.
Right.
Is that's his Lord of the Rings. Is that he didn't, maybe he really died at Argent's hands, and then the rest of the cycle is Christine found it and holy shit,
Oh yeah. And
or,
maybe even this.
Or maybe Christine's not even real,
It's all a vision. And, none of it, like you said, can be taken. A writer is not going to write in his journal play by play exactly as it happened. A writer is going to elaborate. A writer is going to, fictionalize and sensationalize his life.
Right. So there is a way of reading this where this is bullshit, but I don't think it is. Those stories are they're too well realized. They're too like in our own hands that we can read them. Like this is what happens, but there is a way of sort of interpreting this that it's all in his head. Yeah. And I think that's interesting.
They're not true. Head.
All right, cool.
All right, next page.
Shall it be so? Can this be true? And can this be true? Oh God, yes!
Oh yeah, subliminal messaging right
That's
there.
That's a very cool transition. Yeah, it's a very like chaos magic, orgasm to activate the sigil kind of transition.
Right. So we see Lucas and Liz post-coitally chatting here a little bit. Lucas is fucking as if it's his last fuck ever, is how she sees it. It's like almost like you're going for broke. And Lucas
he's like, yeah,
he
no
feels
shit.
like it. Yeah, he's like, this is insane, and he's not saying anything here. And this is all we get of Luke and Liz here, and it's like quick, unlike their escapade, I'm sure, which was
right.
Nice.
Well, they had they had some distance in Luke's apartment, I think, in the last issue.
Right.
And so it's knowing where this story goes, it's nice. It makes it more satisfying and more heartbreaking that they have this one page to reconcile and that we can see their passion and that they have a connection, even though they're great characters. They're
right.
And there's cool stuff, no spoilers the next 45 minutes, but we'll get there. Okay.
Back to
Hunter.
Whose in reflection of the events he beheld offer no veracity. The events I have beheld offer no, what's veracity?
Truth.
Okay.
He thinks it's all bullshit.
Okay, yeah. He doesn't believe that there's the cycle to come.
Well, does he believe he believes in the demon? But, well, let's read on. First of all, the one thing I want to say is that I think that this format has only been for Christine so far in the book. That this is the first, like, block of Hunter journal, I think. That
we see as he's writing.
Formatted this way, not in captions.
And not, like, with a quotation that says from the,
Right. That's in his handwritten cursive. Please.
I'd love to.
Please.
The demon's prophecy bears no more stamp of authentic revelation than any drug-induced hallucination.
But the demon's real.
Yeah,
the demon's real.
But the hallucinations, not so much.
Okay.
My hallucinations, yes, not the ones brought on by the
right.
Aiding this suspicion is the fact that, since the encounter, I have felt no further evidence of the imp's pestering presence. I no longer feel pursued nor observed in any fashion. Once again, I am a living phantom, master of the night. The notion that I will spawn a history of Grendels yet to come, a phenomenon that will someday encompass the globe, is absurd. I will be remembered, but only with awestruck alarm. I will be regarded, but only as a mysterious marvel. Further, the thought that I am not utterly self-created stands contrary to every fiber of my being. I am only the sum of my own decisions and my own inimitable deeds. I am not a resultant. I am extraordinary. Again, these events I have beheld cannot be true. He can't take it that he is not the first and he's not the last, that he is just part of the cycle. It's a cog in the cycle. It can't be.
That was interesting that he was not psyched to be like, yeah, I've got this legacy and it's going to take over the world.
You would think he would be.
Yeah, you would think. But then, when you look into the character and what he wants, he's pretty clear about what he wants.
Right. He is singular. He is a singular devil, a singular defiance to all law and order. And it's him. And that's it. But no.
The pages that he rips out are the total of the missing pages
that Christine speaks about.
Yeah, it's
this whole story.
This whole thing. Yeah, it's not just the cycle and the demon. It starts with things are going pretty good, except I feel paranoid that I'm being watched, and then everything from there to the present has got to
exactly.
go.
Yeah, and he throws them into the fire. He's like, "That's it." He's like,
I am unique. Sorry.
And no, absolutely, yeah, and tosses them into the fire.
You know what's funny about our coverage of this issue, Eli, is that we spent the entire time discussing story and none of the time talking about the artwork or the layout.
That's true. And
right?
and it was all as stellar as every other issue that Matt's done here.
Not that the art isn't amazing. Just
obviously.
like six montage double page spreads that boil down the iconography and characters of thousands of pages of comics
and years too. Thousands of years.
And it's just like, the last issue that we put up, we're talking about like, what's the question? What's your favorite highlight?
Oh yeah,
really getting into the minutia of
right,
the cartooning, and we didn't talk about a single detail of the amazing cartooning here because there's so much story to unpack in this one issue.
Man, that's a great point, Ben. And like the art, I mean, obviously we love Matt's art, and we love. Oh my God, there's so much great stuff in this. I leave it to the listener to get these single issues. I mean, as much as I want you to get the omnibus for this one, I want you to get the singy issues, as fans would say.
I have to get them. I only have the first one, and they've got those nice matte covers.
Oh, and all the pages feel a little bit different. There's a little bit of uncoated stock feel to it.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like this stuff is. I'm patient, but this stuff is out of print, so I'm happy to wait another 5 years to see reissued editions of this content.
Right.
In a different, in a supersized format or, whatever it is.
Oh man. Just really awesome. Amazing issue by Matt.
Yeah. But when's this omnibus from? Like 2012?
It's fairly recent. I'm not sure.
The Grendel tales are from are pretty recent. But these omnibuses came out over a period of time.
Yeah, and I went looking for the
this is from 2012.
The Christine Spar one, and that's like out of print or something like that. It seemed like it was hard to get.
They're expensive, yeah, man.
Actually, but I think I found that it's for sale on the Dark Horse website for like cover price.
Oh, there you go.
But it was like $80-$90 on Abe Books, where like everything else on Abe is like super cheap. Excuse me. Amazing. Anything else on this ish, Ben?
I loved it. This is the one
loved it
that we were waiting to get to.
Oh my God, yes.
It ties up so much. It gives Hunter a glimpse into what his legacy. It gives a great glimpse into Hunter's psychology, and shows us and puts on parade the amazing work, like a lifetime of work by Matt. Mm-hmm. And the Ottoman sparks tension, like the spring coil of their plot mechanism.
Yes,
is so tight right now, and it's just gonna burst the fuck open and break your heart.
Oh my God, next issue too, yeah. And it's so cool. Yeah, I love how it kind of brings this the Hunter Rose idea to a whole new level. The fact that he has the foreknowledge at some point and yet rejects it. Man, so there's more story to tell. There's always little places that there's more story that could be told with Hunter Rose. Like Matt could return to Hunter. He could return with some writing friends that are named Eli and Ben. He could return, lots of places.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll be pitching aplenty in our.
We are
in our next issue.
We already have been. We might as well just start. All right. Anything else to say for this ish?
We have to change our shirts so that it's not a.
Exactly.
We can sit around the same clothes for a whole week. Oh,
get some more coffee. Look at this. Look at this mug that Shay made me.
Oh, that's fun.
That's Grenoff right there.
Grenoff. Another missed opportunity, man.
Come on.
You could have made a killing.
Grendel with a venom symbiote. All right. Until next time, vivat Grendel, and keep on Grendel.